Hi, this is Cheryl with Snowy Stampers. I wanted to come and share with you how I use this scrapbook. It's a scrapbooking kit from Stamping Up called Snow Days. Of course, it would be my favorite. This came out in September, I think. In January, Stamping Up is coming out with some more scrapbooking kits and some really cool albums and pages. But I want to show you what really not so much what came in the kit, as I'm going to focus on showing you a fast album that you and your kids can make. It's really fun to make, and I just want to share with you what I did. Okay, so this is the Snowy Days scrapbooking kit, and all of this different paper comes in it. It comes with DSP. Some of them are double-sided, and you'll see that I use this one to see how I cut off the edge right here. That's so that I could cut these out all with fussy cutting. It has some green one-sided DSP and some blue one-sided DSP. And it also has some stickers that are more for 12 by 12. You'll see them with the 12 by 12 page I did with this. And then it has some white paper and some two-tone pool party. Stamping Up is starting with this new two-tone 12 by 12 since they've got a lot more scrapbookers now that we have Close to My Heart people have come over. All right, this is everything that you're going to need to make this album. I'm really excited to share this with you and to show you what I made. Sorry for the pause. Long pause. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I did, and hopefully you'll be able to reproduce one of these, because you can make these for anything, for like a short trip, for someone who's just had a baby, for someone whose kids are going to school, there's just, for somebody getting married, you can use it for recipes. So this is how I decorated mine. You might not want to have Christmas on the front. You might choose to put a family picture on the front. And then when you open it, you can put a family picture in here, or 3 or 4 little pictures in here. Or you can use the word Christmas in here if you put a big picture on front. And then this is a little envelope that you can put in, like if you went to see the Nutcracker, or you got a tag from when you went to a school show or something. You can put those in here for keepsakes. And then when you open it up all the way, you have these envelopes that accordion out. See how those accordion out? Isn't that fun? We've been making these for years, and it's just really a lot of fun. And you get these, just use some cardstock that matches or corresponds with the DSP to put in there. Now, I've got tabs on mine, and I'm going to show you what I did with these. But these would make, you could actually even give them to somebody and have recipes on the back if you change the DSP, because you could put a white piece of cardstock on here and use for recipes, or for best advice for newly married people. Or if you're a mom, a new mom could put a picture of the baby's first month, and then on the back she just would have to just scribble down what happened on the baby's first month. So she didn't have to go into a big involved scrapbooking thing, yet she'd still have something for the baby. So I'm going to show you how we did all of these, and this is so much fun. And one of the things I would encourage you to do if you make one of these with is get your children involved. Let them have their handwriting in there. So let's put this all aside for a minute. And these, as you can tell, are fussy cut out of that big piece of paper. So I'm going to move this stuff aside and show you what you're going to need, and then we're going to put it together. So this is made out of one sheet of 12 by 12 paper. It's 12 by 12 paper, and it's cut in half. So you've got two 12 by 6 pieces of cardstock, and you want to use the heavier cardstock for it. And this 12 by 12, the 12 by 6 cardstock is scored at 5 1/4, and then it's 6. So you've got 2 of those pieces. So I wanted you to see that. And I think that we're going to kind of create it as I go along and show you everything that we've got, rather than getting you confused and then going back. So what you're going to do with these 12 by 6 pieces that are scored at 5 1/4 and at 6 is you're just going to put them, because you want this album to be 6 by 6. So you need a front that's 6 by 6. And you want to use your score tool because these are heavier cardstock. And as you can see, the back is not 6 by 6. That's why you need 2 pieces. And again, this is 6 inches by 12 inches, scored at 5 1/4 and at 6. Because you need that 3/4 of an inch to give you a little bit of depth in here, so that you can have some place for the envelopes to be. So now you can see that you will have 2 flaps that are 6 by 6, which makes it so much easier to do. But you've got 2 smaller ones that are back here that are not 6 by 6. And the way you solve that problem is I used Pool Party, because Pool Party matches the designer paper I'm using. And I have a 6 by 6 piece of this. So what I'm going to do is I use green glue for putting this together, because green glue stays glued for a long time. You can use tear tape if you want. Either one works great. If you use tear tape, I'll tell you why I use green glue, because that way I can move it a little bit if it isn't exact when I put it on there. And also, well, because it's not always exact. So you're going to take your short side, where it's scored at 5 1/4, and you're going to just put glue on the short side right here in front of the score line. And then you're going to take the 6 by 6 piece of paper and put it right snug up next to that edge. And this looks like I have it on here pretty good. Let's flip it over. It looks like it's pretty straight on the back too. So you can see on the back that, about an inch. Yeah, about an inch of this. Yep, about an inch sticks out. And that's okay, because you have the back of the second piece. And so for the back of the second piece, you're again just going to put glue. You're not going to put glue all over here, because they're not going to all meet together. So again, you're just going to put your adhesive, whatever it is, right on the smaller side of the cardstock. So you've got your 6 by 6 here, your scores, and then you're going to take this same piece of cardstock, mine is Pool Party, and you're going to, just like we snugged it up right here to this edge, right here on this one, we're going to snug it up right here to the edge of the score line on, I put it down I talk too much. Okay, so let's put it snug right here up to this score line. Make sure it's straight. And then you'll see by looking at the back, can you see how you've got some back here that shows, because this is what the book will look like in the back, but now you have a 6 by 6 front, a 6 by 6 inside, and a 6 by 6 back. So that is what's important. And really, this is the base for your scrapbook. And it's a really fun and easy scrapbook to make. Let me show you some of the DSP that I used on here. I cut 2 of the same DSP, and it was from the Snowy kit, and I put them right here like this. But I think, and then this one I put like this. But now I'm going to put one on here so you can see that sometimes, depending on who cut your paper, and I cut this paper, but, you know, I'm not always perfect. And I'll be honest with you, 12 by 12 paper is not always 12 by 12. So you have to compensate a little bit for that. I'm going to put a little bit more glue on that. And you notice even though I'm putting glue on here and I want it to stick for quite a long time, I still am keeping it away from the edges so it doesn't squeeze out. And I'm going to put this 6x6 DSP snug right next to the score mark of the 6x6 score by the 6-inch score. And then I'm going to put this down. I want to make sure that is totally covered. And okay, so can you see this about 1/8 of an inch right here? Yep, that is bad me. So it's looking fine down here. Well, yep, it looks fine down here. So we're going to do the same thing on the inside front. And remember, you could use either side. You could use this if you wanted to, because you could put it on the front, but I chose to put it inside because I've made these before, and I always love to have, I used to make them out of our scrapbook kits that we used to get years and years ago. Stampin' Up! Hasn't had them in years. And a scrapbook kit would make one half of the kit would make a full, sorry, my green glue is running out. Let me grab another green glue. That's what happens when you try to use up all the bits and ends pieces of the green glue. So this should have a lot more to it. All right. Now we are just going to put this again on the inside, and we're going to put it snug up to where this first score mark is and have it straight on the paper. All right. So there you go. Oh, something dropped. So now you've got the inside, but you see how this little bit, it's like 1/8 of an inch, is over. You want a large pair of scissors. Your snips aren't the best for this. You want just to get a large pair of scissors and just run it right along and follow that green to cutting off that much. I mean, it's really, really small. But you could not cut it off, but I'm pretty picky, so I do cut it off. So here you go. Oop, get it straight. If you're going to cut wrong, cut towards the DSP, because you don't want to cut your 6x6 cardstock. All right. Those little pieces are done up. And so now we've got this. I did put a piece of a different piece of cardstock, DSP on here. And again, it's another 6x6 piece of cardstock. I'm sorry, not a piece of cardstock. You could use cardstock. I use DSP because I like to have a little bit of decoration on it. And that's what you get when you use the DSP, because DSP is designer series paper, and usually it coordinates with certain colors, and it's pretty easy to put together. I am going to pull this out full now, and I like using this green, so I always like to use a darker color so I can make sure that I can see the edges of it when I'm putting something on. And this I need to pull down. This is why I use green glue, because you can push it down a little bit on either end. And that's really helpful when you need it to move just a tiny bit. So that looks pretty good. But you can see, again, that went over. I don't know why. My cutter is about 1/8 of an inch off, and I know that. And so I often end up cutting off little 1/8 of an inch on my paper. And you saw how fast and easy that was. Okay, let's talk, before we decorate, let's talk about how you make the expandable middle. This is what we're going to make right now. And I have some of it already prepared because I didn't think you wanted to just sit there and watch me do it repeatedly. So let me show you. I've got my envelopes right here. So you need 12 envelopes for the inside, and then I always put 1 envelope for the outside for keepsakes and things like that. So what you do with this, and do use tear and tape for this. So you take a regular envelope like this, and you want 2 pieces of tear and tape on the back. One right up on the top of the lid of the envelope, and one here, right kind of close to the fold, and one here right at the edge. Okay, and then you also want a piece of tear and tape right here where the sticky part is to close the envelope. Because what you're going to be doing is, let's see, where's my pick tool? I brought it over here. So you're just going to pull up the tear and tape. And you can use any envelopes. I recommend ours because they're a little thicker and they are a little heavier. So they stay together better because you're going to be moving this up and down a lot. So you can see all that tear and tape did was the one on the back at the fold. This is how an envelope looks. And you just want to put 2 pieces of tear and tape on here. And even though you want to get these exactly right, I would recommend tear and tape because it's sturdy. It keeps things well. So you do this for all 12 pieces so that they're folded back. Here's the inside and here's the back. And then what you do is you tear off this piece and you're just going to lay this right here together with the other one. See how I held them up to put them together? And that's the easiest way to get them adhered, and it keeps them straight. So you would just repeat that 12 times. And we are only going to repeat it twice because I already have done it 12 times. And you can see how holding it up again like this, see how that just keeps them all in line? Then what I did is I put a lot of tear and tape on the back. You might be able to get away with 3 pieces, but well, most of y'all know, even with dimensionals, I tend to over enforce. And since this is something that we want kids and adults and grandmas and new wives and new moms or anyone you give it to be able to open and close a lot, we want it supported really well so it doesn't fall apart. Okay, now the one trick about making this is where the envelopes are placed. The envelopes need to be placed at you don't want to leave a little bit of space here. They need to be placed at the very bottom, right at the very bottom of the middle 6x6 piece. Okay, I'm pressing that down because I'm pressing the tear and tape onto the back. So you use the middle 6x6 piece and you put the envelopes on them, and there you go. Wasn't that a fast, cool little thing? You could even do it for, let a child have one of these for every year he's in school, and he can do one for every month he's in school in his summer, and he gets to write on or he or she gets to write on the back. Now, let me show you. I did the same thing with another envelope where, again, this one I am putting on the front, so I am just going to pull up the 2 pieces of tear and tape off the label, bend it back, and now you can see there's 4 on here. That's because this one isn't used as much. This is really for any kind of extra, little 3D things you want to put on. Maybe, I don't know, an extra picture or a special note or movie tickets. A lot of people do movies, anything like that. In this one, I do put up a little ways because this is just going to be on here as a decoration. So I do usually do about 1/4 of an inch all the way around, sometimes more. And then I used the back of this DSP, his candy canes. So I just cut it to the size that I wanted for the front of the envelope, which, what was this? The front of the envelope is front 6x2, no. Okay, well, we can just measure it. Well, that's what I have a measure. So 5 3/4 by 1.5. So this is 5 3/4 by 1.5, and it will fit just directly on the bottom of the envelope. The important part was putting those envelopes together, because you can use this for Christmas. You could use it for just so many different, even if you like your child goes to camp, or you as a family camp in the summer or in the winter, and you want to let them have their own little memory book. This is great for that. And I did cut out a lot of these little snow globes, and I put him on here. Now you want to be careful when you're gluing him on that you don't glue it down so this envelope can't open. So you want to make sure he's down, and I only put the glue on the bottom, have to check, and on this side, so that it doesn't close this envelope in any way. So here you go. I'm going to put him right down here so that the envelope here can still stay open. Now, what I did for these cards, I use coordinating cardstock. So it's pool party, garden green, and real red. And you get 4 of 3 different colors. I made 12. And so these are cut into, gosh, let me think this. Oh, okay. So, you know what? I'm just going to measure it again, because I don't seem, it's 5.5 by 4.5. Yes, these are all 5.5 by 4.5. And then I cut pieces of DSP that are 2 inches by 1 inch to fold in half and just put on there. Now, if you are a corresponding person, you might want to have red on red. Or you might not want to have tabs at all. These actually can go right in there without tabs. And you can still see them, and you can still pull them out really easily. And the more you use this, the easier it is to pull cards out. But can you see how these, and you could do all the pool party, then all the green, then all the red. Pool party could be one child's, and red could be another, and green could be a parent, you know. So you could everybody could have their say in how Christmas was for them. So the other thing is that I usually give people, when I give them this, white that is 5 1/4 by 4 1/4, which they can put on the back of the paper. So they can use this if they want, or they don't have to. Sometimes they would rather put 2 pictures on here and just have a punch that just tells about the pictures on here. And you know, one of the things a lot of people are liking are those little printers that print 2 by 3 pictures. And you could get a couple of those on here, like one here and one here, horizontal and vertical, and just have the pretty paper punched out. So I usually ask the people what they like, and then, or I know them well enough that I know what they would like. Or if I give it as a gift. And sometimes like this, I would just put this in the pocket, and the decorations for the front of the card, which in this case, I used a 6 by 6 piece of DSP and a 6 by 1 of pool party to put that on there. But like I said, you may want a Christmas thing on the front. And you could also use this snowflake paper. Look, see, this is the back, and I'm not going to use this edge because it cuts off. It's the top edge of the DSP, and all of them are cut off. So you could actually even put this on the front, and it looks like a little window looking into the house, and then you could put your family's picture on here. So I usually give a lot of little pieces of DSP that are extra for people to use. So this is what the decorated one looks like with Christmas on the outside instead of a picture. I do put this up in dimensionals, and when I give them little pieces like that, I recommend you give them a little sheet of dimensionals or something, or you put these up on dimensionals so that when you add the picture here, you can just have these dimensionaled up so your picture can go into it. And you might want to use these thinner ones so they don't take up the whole side of the picture. So I'm going to go over really fast, again, the sizes so that you've got them. You can also check it out on my blog at Cheryl at Snowy Stamper. And I have a Facebook page. And you can purchase this Snowy Day kit still at my Stampin' Up website, which is Cheryl at Snowy Stamper. And that's all linked, but it'll all have a link from this video, also on Facebook, and also YouTube, Facebook, and in my blog. So again, this original pieces of paper were 12 by 6, scored at 5 1/4, scored at 5 1/4, and at 6. And then another piece of it, 12 by 6, scored at 5 1/4, and then 6. And then remember, when you're putting this together, you put the glue on the smaller of the green sides, and then put the 6 by 6 DSP that coordinates with your DSP, 6 by 6 piece of cardstock, and you glue just the green side on the back, and then you glue the green inside and put it in there. And to make the envelopes, you're just taking a regular envelope, folding it back and securing that flat back, and then on the sticky part where you'd normally lick or sponge to make it closed, you're just putting that back here glued on. And see, if you make sure you have it where, now this works with our envelopes, you might have to try it with other envelopes, but if you're using the Stampin' Up envelopes, it exactly fits on here, so there's no sticky and things will go in and out. So this is my envelope scrapbook. I hope you liked it, and like I said, it's just fun to have for all different occasions, and it's fun to see handwriting, so make sure you remember to put your own handwriting in when you make one of these up. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. You can get me an email, you can text me, and I'm always around. So I hope you take some of your pictures off your phone and put them even into a fast scrapbook like this so that you can show it. So your kids can show it to their friends. So grandmas, this makes a great grandma book and a grandma brag book. So, and like I said, weddings for a new bride, it would make great for recipes, or first year of a child, or school years for a child, all kinds of ideas. Okay, so I hope you like this. Any questions, just let me know. And you can go to my online store at Cheryl at Snowy Stamper, and you can get this kit. And you will also see that we made a 12 by 12 page with this, made a 6 by 6 scrapbook page with this because I like 6 by 6 and 12 by 12s. And we also made some pretty awesome cards. So you can go onto my online store and still buy this. It's still available for purchase. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful day and you enjoy the Christmas snow. And remember, you matter.